Hey there, this is Matt with State of Flex, here with my thoughts on Oscars 2025. The awards have just been given, and I have some thoughts. The show itself I thought was a little bland when I could get into it. It sounds like many people, had difficulties getting Hulu to cooperate and get me logged into the show, which kind of sucked. So there you have it. That said, the pre-show bits were kind of fun and probably one of the bigger highlights of the evening in terms of production involved. And Conan O'Brien was good. I was hoping he'd be a little better. I'm a big Conan fan, and he is really funny. He had some pretty good zingers in there. And I'd be glad if he came back and hosted again. But the show itself was pretty meh. I was kind of excited for tonight because there was the opportunity for many upsets. There were no surefire victories that everybody just knew was going to happen, because there was always a different award show leading into this where there was a dark horse contender, or maybe it would be between 2 or 3 different candidates. But when it came down to giving the final awards, it was pretty bland, if I'm being honest. All the people you thought were going to win won, and there you have it. So let's go through. I'll put timestamps in so you can track that at your leisure. I'll give you my 2 cents on what I thought of all of them. But Best Picture went to Anora. This is a movie that I liked. It wasn't my favorite picture by far, but I didn't think any of the nominees that I saw were bad, and I'm not disappointed that any one of them, if any one of them had been called, I wouldn't have been disappointed. Anora is a good movie. It zigs when it ought zag sometimes, but you know what? I enjoyed it, by and large. I'll have a video on Anora, because I do have some detailed thoughts on that one, but I was not surprised to see that one get called. That was kind of the favorite at the midpoint of 2024, once it started getting its accolades, and then people seemed to cool on it, but it came back with a thunderous roar here at the end. And it's a very good movie. For Best Director, Sean Baker took that award, and in fairness, he does a great job directing that movie. That movie is good, it's tight, it moves, it has a strong flow to it, and there's a confidence with every single choice made with that movie that I think really works to that film's benefit. So I was perfectly fine with his win for Anora. Best Actor went to Adrien Brody for The Brutalist. I'm curious to see if any of that AI tinkering comes back into play in the conversation surrounding this moving forward. Granted, only about 8 minutes of the nearly 4-hour feature film has Adrien Brody speaking in the Hungarian dialect with which they had to go in and have AI perfect certain vowel sounds and whatnot. But this is the first time that a known Best Picture winner has had tinkering done with an AI generative program. And so I'm curious to see what comes of that. Yeah, I was kind of hoping for Timothée Chalamet. I think he completely dissolves into the performance of Bob Dylan, or Ralph Fiennes, who gives such an understated performance, but I think the fact that it is understated from an actor that's generally very large with his acting choices, that lost Ralph Fiennes his performance so that Adrien Brody could get his 2nd Oscar. Best Actress went to Mikey Madison. She was the lead contender going in to the Oscar season of releases in, say, October, and then people kind of cooled on her quite a bit, but she came back once again to take that Oscar gold home. And I think this was the biggest toss-up of the night. Was it going to be her? Was it going to be Demi Moore? Or was it going to be an outside Fernanda Torres? But it ended up being Mikey Madison, who gives a great performance. And you can see her performance and juxtapose it to the speech she gave there at the end of the night. She does a great job in the movie. I will say that that performance is basically just the same performance that Marisa Tomei gave for My Cousin Vinny. just done in a completely dramatic skew, but it's still a really good performance. And though I don't think it was as good as Demi Moore or Cynthia Erivo's performances, I get why it won, and she's a great actress, a very fine actress of her generation that I look forward to her next pieces of work. Dying, sorry. Still trying to get over a cold here. Best Supporting Actor, to no one's surprise, went to Kieran Culkin, who gives a great performance, though it's so strange to me even still that his performance is so highlighted and Jesse Eisenberg's wasn't. Jesse Eisenberg, I think, was equally as good as Kieran Culkin in that movie. It's just that Kieran Culkin has the showier performance, and it only works because of how it bounces off of Jesse Eisenberg's. In my opinion, that's a tandem performance, and it's kind of a shame that that victory isn't shared with Jesse Eisenberg. Nevertheless, Kieran Culkin does a phenomenal job, and he had my favorite speech of the night. It was adorable, and I loved it. Best Supporting Actress went to Zoe Saldana, and Zoe Saldana did a great little speech. I enjoyed her speech. It was super cute. It was beautiful, it was empowering, it was everything that Adrien Brody's wasn't, which went on just as long as the Brutalist did. Sorry I had to zig Brutalist one last time in there, but Zoe Saldana takes this Oscar home, and she did a great job. My heart breaks for Ariana Grande, who gave what I thought was the best performance of all of last year. The most surprising performance, the most textured and fun performance. But Zoe has always been amazing. She should have won so many times over the years for various different movies, regardless of the quality of said movies. She's always great, and I'm glad that she finally has that Oscar Gold to hopefully propel her to even greater distances. She is that good of an actress. Best Original Screenplay went to Anora. This is one where I'm less happy about this win. I think the direction, the acting of Anora is its strengths. The writing, well, I like large beats of how the story goes and stuff. I do bump into a lot of various problems. Again, this is foreshadowing for a future video, so stay tuned on my channel, hopefully later this week, with a review for Anora, where I'll get into the nitty-gritty of what I didn't like about this Best Picture winner. And I'm also really bummed out that The Substance, which is clearly the most original screenplay of last year, or A Real Pain, which I think is the best quality of writing in a screenplay of last year, didn't take that award home. Best Adapted Screenplay went to Conclave. I'm glad that movie got something. That was a phenomenal movie. Of all the Oscar nominees, that was my second favorite. It was super good, and the writing was where it's at. It is so well written, so well constructed, and invites multiple viewings. I think once you know the outcome of said film, you can go back and watch it again and see how you got there in a more meaningful and powerful way. It is good writing. There's so much going on there that it's quality, just simply that. Quality, and I'm glad it got recognized. Best Animated Feature went to Flow, which I was pretty impressed with, surprised by, but also not, because I thought if it wasn't Wild Robot, it was going to be Flow, and I'm glad that Latvia got some recognition. First Oscar win, that's pretty cool. My heart breaks a little bit for the Wild Robot, which goes home empty-handed, but I think cinema will remember that film very fondly in 5, 10, 20 years. Watch that movie with a kid, you will see that kid's life change once they see that movie. This, I feel like, is going to be one of those pinnacle Iron Giant or like Star Wars kind of movies to its audience that grows up with it. Let's see. Production Design, Wicked. I loved that won. for something. Production design, that was a no-brainer. It did such a phenomenal job with its production design, and I loved it. And it cements that my favorite movie every year of the 2020s so far has at least taken home one Oscar. And it may not have always been for Best Picture, but they've always gone home with the gold somewhere meaningful. Whether it's Promising Young Woman, Coda, Triple R, Godzilla -1, or now Wicked. 5 for 5, y'all. Costume design, Wicked, again, that's where it was at. The costuming in Wicked is just phenomenal. It's just so good and intricate and interesting, and you had a visual feast wherever you looked to look at the background, the sets, but also the costumes, and it was great, and I loved it. Cinematography went to The Brutalist. I don't have a whole lot to say there. Yeah, it looks good. Film editing, Anora. I was a little surprised at this one. I really thought Conclave might pull that one, or The Brutalist, but Anora is a movie that I did compliment on its flow, its use of transitions and rave-like choppy editing that works in a way that's not distracting, that feels lived in the moment, but also knows how to do the long takes and let the camera settle and let the information be told to you through the editing. And I thought the editing in that film was good, so I'm glad it got recognized. Makeup and hairstyle, The Substance. If this one didn't win, I was going to lose my mind. The makeup in that was extraordinarily good. All of them that were nominated did great work, but this one easily had the best. And I was very happy to see that, and happy to see The Substance get something. Pardon me. Sound. Dune Part 2, I was the least interested in this win. Sometimes it's not the best sound that wins, it's the most sound that wins, and Dune certainly had the most sound. Visual effects, again, Dune wins it again. I was really disappointed it didn't go to Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes or Alien. Pardon me. But it went to Dune. You keep hearing me choke because the internet is getting upset that I'm not glowing about Dune's praises. Music, El Mal, this is going to piss a lot of people off, but hey, I love that song. I added that song into my phone the day after Thanksgiving when I first saw this movie. I loved that song, and I'm glad it won. So there you have it. Music, The Brutalist. I listened to all of these scores, and clearly Conclave and The Wild Robot had the best scores, so the fact that Brutalist, which had the worst score, won, makes my stomach turn a little bit. Not a bad score, just not a good score. Just an ambivalent score. And apparently that's what we look for in movies nowadays. Best documentary feature, No Other Land. I was impressed with this win. Pardon me. I'm sorry, I keep choking here. I was impressed with the win for No Other Land. Way to go, guys. That was an interesting film, interesting subject, and I hope this secures its cinematic release to some streaming channel or something. This film still is not picked up for distribution outside of where the filmmakers have played the film. So I hope it gets picked up for distribution so everybody at wide can see it, because it's an important story to have told. Best International Film, I'm Still Here. From what I hear from people who have watched all 10 of the nominees, the consensus that I've heard from people that I personally know that have watched all 10, that is the best picture. So I'm glad it won for something, and I'm glad it won for Best International Film. I look forward to checking it out once it hits streaming or gets hopefully another theatrical release, because I missed it in the window that I had an opportunity to see it in. I hear it's fantastic, and I look forward to watching it. Best Animated Short Film, In the Shadow of the Cypress. Didn't see it. Looks cute. Cute but in how it's animated, not the story it's telling. Best Documentary Short Film, The Only Girl in the Orchestra, which was a good, very cute documentary, was my least favorite of the nominees. Not that it's bad, it was just it was interesting but not compelling. And I I'm bummed out that some of the other ones, I'm Ready, Warden, Incident, didn't take that home. Live action short film. I'm Not a Robot. I liked it. It was a good short film. By far my least favorite of the nominees in that category as well. Alien, or Alien, or however you want to pronounce it, was easily the best piece of media I watched last year, and I'm really, really disappointed that didn't win. It is the most relevant and important piece of media that I watched last year as well. So there you have it. Those are my thoughts. If you could tell, I was not particularly pleased with who won a lot, though my disappointments aren't huge either. I don't think there's any movie that won that I thought was outright bad. Even Dune 2, which I was kind of sniping at, I really liked that movie. If that had been if that had won its Best Picture, I wouldn't have been disappointed. It was a very good film. But the ones that I thought were clear shining stars of their work didn't seem to take that gold home, and I'm pretty disappointed by that. But good news on my end is that my favorite film, Wicked, does have a sequel coming out later this year. Hopefully that is equally as good as the first one, if not better, and we get a second bite at this apple for us Wicked fans. Let me know what you thought of this show. Did you think that this Oscars was as kind of lackluster as I did? Were you way into it? Were you super happy with the winners or super disappointed? Where your feelers at? Let me know in the comment area down below. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Peace. Sorry for all the coughing.